All right, guys, so this week in science, we're still going to be looking at inherited traits instead of talking about humans and ourselves and talking about animals like we did last week. We're going to move on. We're going to look at plants and see. We're going to go through this together. I'm going to kind of talk you through this slideshow that Miss Almaderas and myself have put together. And this time we're going to talk about what are some things that are inherited whenever we're talking about plants and flowers. Okay, so just so you know that plants do inherit traits from their plant parents. So yes, plants technically have parents, just like animals and humans. All right. So let's look at the first thing that they can inherit. So the first thing that is inherited is a plant or flower. I'm going to use both plants and flowers there. So you're going to see some examples for both. So if we're looking over here, we're looking at these plants and flowers and their odor. Odor is how they smell. So here are some examples that we've come up with. So a lily, if you've ever smelled a lily before, they have a very strong, sweet scent. Over to the right, you have something a little bit different. This is actually called a corpse flower, and corpse, if you know what that means, that's like something that's dead. So corpse flower is going to actually have a very opposite scent, something that is not pleasant at all. You don't want to be around it. It is almost a smell of like rotten flesh. Definitely not a good smell. All right, those are, so that's one trait that can be inherited. They also call these like their physical properties. So if you think about the ways that you can describe those physical properties, the things that you can see and be able to describe, that's kind of what you'll see that interchanged with inherited traits when it comes to plants. And you'll see as I go along, their physical traits, physical properties are like their inherited traits. Okay, the next one we have is the flower plant colors. So if we're looking at like the actual flower part, looking at over here to the left and the sunflower, the yellow flower petals, that is an inherited trait of a sunflower. Where these leaves over to the right have this light green and dark green pattern to them, those are inherited traits. Another one is their stem length. So I'll give you various stems or plants here to look at. Stem lengths vary depending on the type of plant it is. So here we have, these are the little cotton pieces on their tip here. So this is obviously a very long, skinny stem. Same that goes for the sunflower. And then if you over here, this is actually an aloe vera plant. So the aloe vera plant has that one, obviously all flowers, they have their single stem. This stem is just a little bit different. Another thing is the leaves, the size or the shape, those are inherited. So depending on the type of plant or flower it is, depends on the type of leaf it's going to have. So there are very many different kinds of leaves and their sizes and shapes. So here's just a variety of some. The types of roots. So roots are not all the same. Roots are just depending. Think about like a tree compared to a plant. Think about what a plant or what the root does. It anchors it in the ground. Not only does it provide nutrients, but it does anchor that in the ground. So if you think about the different types of roots that are needed for different types of plants and trees, just depending on what it is that is growing out of it. So here's some different types of roots. Again, that's an inherited trait. And then the leaf texture. So texture, remember, is how something feels. From plant to plant, they vary. They're very different. Some are very soft. Some are very silky. Some are smooth. Some can be prickly like this cactus over here. So that is another inherited trait. Now we're going to look at something a little bit different. So sometimes we see plants and trees and flowers, and they don't necessarily look like the original. Well, that's because something has caused it to change, and there's change that can be caused by, the first one is by animals. So think about the leaf. When leaves have those holes through, well, obviously something is fed off of that. So here I have a caterpillar and the holes in the leaves. The holes are not inherited. Instead, they're changed. The leaves are changed because of something doing that. Over here I have a fruit tree and an animal feeding off of the fruit on the tree. The fruit was not grown like that. The fruit grew and then something caused that fruit to be changed. Well, that's that animal. Another change can be caused by nature. So think about whenever, a hurricane, tornadoes, something similar causes, the wind causes, branches to break off. It wasn't inherited to do that. Instead, nature caused that change. And the last one is humans. We cause a change to our own plants and trees. Ways that we can do that is over here to the left again, you know, for cutting down trees. And then over here to the right, you're going to see what's called like cross pollination. So sometimes not only do we do that, bugs and animals do it as well, but we cross pollinate two different plants or flowers, and it causes, you know, things to differ in the way that they may look from the way that they're supposed to originally look. So these are different types of ways that plants and flowers can be changed. This is not inherited. These are not inherited. Okay. Remember, inherited are going to be like their physical traits, the way you can describe them. What can you see? Those are going to be the inherited traits. All right. So you're going to be using this throughout the week to help you as you complete your assignments. So it will be available every day this week. Come back and look at this slide as many times as you need to. Watch this video to see and remind yourself, what are those inherited traits for plants?